Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. In this video, I'm going to be drawing digitally, which I haven't done a video of in so long. I think it's been about 3-ish years since I last did a digital drawing video. And also, I never drew humans digitally back then. I just recently started drawing humans digitally because I always struggled with it. But anyway, the story behind why I'm drawing this particular picture is that my friend recently started drawing digitally. And so she was drawing a picture of this guy, Woozi, and she was having a little bit of trouble getting the drawing to look like him. So I was giving her some tips and I decided that I should draw him too. And it was actually so fun. I spent 5.5 hours on this drawing and it felt like no time at all. I think I did it over the course of 2 or 3 days and it was so fun. And I'm actually working on drawing Hoshi next, and maybe I will draw all of the members of 17 because I found this really cool looking picture of Dino and it has like amazing lighting and I think it would be really fun to draw. Anyway, a little bit about my drawing process. So as you can see, I start off with a gray canvas, that way like the white doesn't hurt my eyes, and also I can just like see what I'm drawing better on a gray canvas. And then I'm using a red pencil, so I don't know, it shows up good. And what I do before I start is I insert the drawing that I'm going to be doing, and then I trace the drawing just to like get a feel for like the shapes and stuff, and then that helps me when I'm actually doing the real drawing. And then I put the reference underneath it and just kind of flip back and forth in between those occasionally to just see if what I'm drawing is matching up. Obviously, I'm not trying to make it perfect or anything, and I'm not tracing, but just to see if I'm like incredibly off on like the placements. The only time I did any quote unquote tracing is just drawing the guidelines over the original reference. That way I could get the placement on the eyes and nose and mouth good. But that's it. I think I just did that for the eye and eyebrow line. I don't really remember though. I'll find out when I'm watching this. The ears actually turned out so good. I don't know why, but recently I've gotten really good at drawing ears. I used to be terrible at drawing ears, and I would just draw like little half heart things, but I've actually gotten pretty good at drawing ears. And also, even though I wasn't tracing, the proportions and like placement of my stuff ended up being pretty spot on, even if I wasn't like looking at the thing underneath right before I drew it, if that makes sense. Like you can see, I just drew that part of the jacket right then, and it was pretty close. And then there were some things where I would draw it and then I would like check to see if it was like super off, and then it was like perfectly on point. And I was like, I'm doing pretty good today. Because something I really struggle with is drawing in a way that is stylized, but still, I guess, having accurate proportions and looking like the reference. I don't know, I have a really hard time like doing a combination of the two because I feel like I either go like way too realistic or like I don't really know how to stylize things, because when I'm following a reference, I want to make it accurate. I want to make it look like the person, but then I also want it to be like stylized. I don't want it to be completely realistic, and I struggle with like blending those two together, I guess. But I think I did a pretty good job of stylizing this drawing, and same with the Hoshi drawing, which I haven't finished yet, but I did the line art for that. Also, I wasn't originally going to have the first sketch also be the line art, because I was like, I was just gonna do like a sketch underneath and then do line art. But then I really liked how the sketch looked, and then I just cleaned it up the tiniest bit, but still left some of like the messy lines. And I think that helped it like be a little bit more stylized, because I really don't like when everything is like clean lines. I feel like it just takes away from the drawing when I do it. I'm not saying like other people, but just personally what I like to do is I like things to be a little bit more unfinished. I like that look. And I think with my Hoshi drawings, since I haven't done really much coloring yet, I'm just working on blocking in the colors on the hair. Sorry, I'm talking about the second painting when I'm doing this painting right now. Anyway, for that one, I think I want to do have a little bit more texture in the face and hair. Because for this one, I did use like a textured brush after I blocked everything in, but then I feel like I blended it out too much, so I want to try to like keep that texture. So that's what I'm going to try to do next time, because that's something I really struggle with, is like adding the right amount of texture where it like fits in and it doesn't look out of place, but it's also still like accurate to the colors and everything. That's something I struggle with, but I am really proud of how this final Woozi drawing came out. Also, before anyone says anything, I'm fully aware that you can do like the color fill thing in Procreate. I just think it's really fun to color in the hair manually. So if you guys don't like doing that, then you can use the color fill, but I don't like doing it. Here I am putting in the skin, which I changed the skin tone so many times because I don't know, I just like could not get it right. This is definitely not the final skin tone. It's a way too orange. Like, I do not know why I made it that orange. I think it's because I wanted it to be like a little bit warmer than the reference, but then I went like too warm and then it made it kind of orange. So don't worry, I changed it. Also, when I change it to the final skin tone, it's gonna look really white, like almost like I'm whitewashing him. It's not this, by the way. Also not this. This is also not the final skin tone. I ended up making it like pretty light, a lot lighter than it looked in the photo, because I was looking at some other pictures of him. If y'all aren't carrots, you won't know this, but in this picture, he looks pretty whatever, normal. He's so pale. Like, I swear he's a vampire. He's like the color of the wall sometimes. It's really funny. And I'm not saying this in a mean way or anything. I'm also super pale. I just think it's a little funny. And it's kind of like a joke with carrots if you aren't a carrot and you were wondering. So I ended up making it pretty light, but then once I added the shading and everything, it ended up being like the perfect match to him. And I'm so happy with how the skin came out. I just like, for some reason, even though I don't think I've painted a human digitally like this I think I've only done it once. And so I'm so proud of how the skin came out, and it just came so naturally, and I don't know why. I think it might be because of my 2 portraits I did in oil paint, and now that I actually have the means to do it digitally, where if I mess up I don't have to remix a color, then I'm just like, it comes so much more naturally to me. So I think painting in oil definitely helped me improve my digital painting a lot, which is good. And I love painting in oil, but it's so nice to like not have to completely remix a color and like wait for it to dry. It's so nice to not have to do that digitally. Ignore the picture I have for the reference. That was my friend's drawing, but then she was just messing around with like all the effects in her app and doing like funny stuff. I don't know why I used that one as the reference and not like the actual drawing she did, but I think that's kind of funny because I really liked how she did the hair, so I wanted to kind of draw inspiration from that for his hair. And here I am adding a little bit more shading to his eyes because I noticed in the original reference that they're a little more smoky, so I started doing that, and it's almost like doing my own makeup. It was so fun. Also, I don't know if you guys ever feel like this, but sometimes I almost feel like I'm being possessed by my artistic ability. Like I'm doing something and it's turning out good, but I don't even feel like I'm the one doing. Like I don't feel like I'm doing it and I know how to do it. I feel like it's someone else. I don't know how to explain it. But it's just like, how am I doing this and how is it looking good? I don't know why. Let me know if you guys ever experience that or if it's just me and I sound like an absolute crazy person. The highlights literally complete the eyes so much. That's always my favorite part of drawing eyes, is adding the highlights, because it's just like you're adding the soul to the eyes. And when I did my Seonghwa painting, which I recently finished, if you want to see what that looks like, go to my Instagram at the Jules Creations. I'm so happy with how the eyes turned out on that, because I actually had to completely redo like the facial features, and because I was not happy at all with how they turned out. So when I redid the eyes, I was struggling a little bit, but then I was able to actually do it. And that's always the part that I'm so worried about when I'm drawing someone else, because for me, that is the most prominent feature of someone, is like if the eyes aren't right, then it does not look like them at all. So I'm glad that I was able to make Woozi's eyes look like Woozi's eyes and have Seonghwa's eyes look like Seonghwa's eyes when I did that painting, because otherwise it just would not be the same. That's why I really struggled to draw Lino. I've painted him once in gouache, and just, it's so hard to get his eyes right. There's just this very specific look he has in his eyes, and it's so hard to recreate, and I don't know why, but for me it's just like so hard. And anyone who can draw Lino, props, because I can't, and I want to work on that. But there's something about it, something about his face, it's just so perfect I can't even recreate it. Here I am doing the background, which I changed the color of 10 billion times. I don't think I included all of those times I changed it, but it was quite a few. And originally I was going to do some doodles like you see in this picture that I have for the reference. And then I was like, oh, maybe I'll do like clouds and then do these little doodles. And then I ended up just writing his name and putting some music notes, and I really like how that turned out. I didn't want the background to be too light because I feel like it just didn't have a good contrast. So I settled on this nice teal color, and I made it like slightly lighter around his head for some variety. And then I wrote his name, which was really annoying because I suck at lettering. Even if it's in English, I just suck at it, doing it digitally. Traditionally, I also kind of suck, but especially digitally. Ugh, it's so annoying. As you can see, I'm trying to liquefy it, and then it's just like, Here I am just signing it, and it's done, and I love how it turned out. Stay tuned for the Hoshi drawing. I'll see you next time. I love you. Bye.